Hi guys, hello everybody. We have lunchtime and Magda Connects landed today in Estonia with Patrik Hierner. Patrik, thank you so much for dedicating your time to Magda Connects and all the viewers. I welcome you on board, actually on the bus. Today's topic is travel, how we travel nowadays, and it's lunchtime, so we will have 40-minute travel with Patrik. And I'm very curious what you're going to tell us, because you're very, very experienced, and I'm sure you will have lots of insights for our followers today. They can use for the coming months. So, Patrik, who are you? Where are you now? I've mentioned we'll end it in Estonia today, but where exactly? And where have you been till now? Your story is very exciting. You didn't live only in one place, and you didn't only go to one place. So tell your story, please.
Yeah, hello Magda, welcome
Over
to everybody. I welcome everybody here, and it's very exciting for me as well, especially as I know you quite a long time already. And as you know, I left Austria almost 10 years ago on my path to do that what I like most, to travel, but not just to travel, but also to share my experiences with my clients, with people from all over the place, and to go with them to the most beautiful places on our planet. Well, I'm Austrian. I come from a very small village in Mostviertel. That's a small area around 1 hour west of Vienna. And I was raised up there in a small village with just 2,000 people. And my parents were people who had not too much money at the time, so we did not travel a lot when I was a child, but I was always keen in traveling and always keen in other cultures, in other countries. And I remember when I was 5 years old, I got a small present from my dad, and it was a globe, such a globe like here in the back. And I always asked my parents, what are those colorful countries there on this globe? And they did tell me that's China, that's Japan, and so on. And my mom told me that with 6 years, I could tell this is China, that is Japan before, and I could write or read the name of my brother that time. So it was interesting from the beginning. And I always was interested in that. And when I was ending my school, I started to study geography, because that was what I was interested the most. And I started after to work in a company which was producing maps and traveling literature. So I came more and more into this field, what I really did like. And I was working there for around 10 years. And I made books and traveling literature and stuff like that. I did also write myself. It was interesting, but still I could not fulfill my dream of traveling and of sharing my experiences. So I decided after 10 years I will stop this job and I will start my own business. So I started traveling as a guide, and I started my own traveling agency. And from that on, I could really do what I did like most. It was a risk, of course, but I never did somehow think it was a bad idea. Well, now I am in Estonia because 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I was traveling here for a tour for 1 week, and I met my love, my wife, Katrin. I'm married now, and I stayed. So I'm here in Estonia now, living here. I have also my base in Austria still. I travel there and back, and I do my business from here and from Austria as well. So I'm in a small place here as well. It's like a suburb of the capital city, Tallinn. It's very close to the capital city. I can go there with a bus in 20 minutes. And on the other hand, there is really nice nature just outside of our place. We have a big bog and forests and all that just behind the house.
So, Patrik, apart from finding love of your life, which gave you lots of meaning in life, what is the meaning of travel for you, and how do you feel when you come home? Because you travel quite a lot.
Yeah, I traveled so far, to almost 90 countries. So for me, it's always a going out and coming home. Um, Usually, I have been around the world in, I would say, around 30 weeks per year. So I'm more outside my home than I'm in home. But traveling is for me. I have a magnet on my fridge, and there's written "Traveling is life." It's for me. It's somehow it's giving me power. It's giving me passion. Um, it's giving me so much to see other cultures, to see the world not just from one side, to go out of the box, to have new experiences. And I know when I come home from a tour, most of the time I have very good mood. I feel refreshed somehow. And the same time when I come home, of course, it's like coming home to go down, to have a base, to have somehow my roots. And I can tell I have two homes now. I have one in Austria, one in Estonia, and that's very nice, and I love it very much.
Mm. When you travel, you feel home in some of the places you travel to, because sometimes we have this feeling we feel home. Do you
Yes,
have also home during your travel?
definitely. There are some places where I go very often. For example, to Iceland.
Mhm.
I have been in Iceland, I don't know, I think 40 times, traveling around the island, and I know quite most places there. And if I come there, if I come to Keflavik Airport, I feel, oh,
Mhm.
I'm home again. So there are some those places as well, yes. I mean, some places touch your soul
Mhm.
somehow. I'm more the nature guy. I like also culture tours. I like to go to big cities, but I'm more a nature guy. So I love very much those wild, natural places. I remember I've been in Uganda with gorillas in the forest, and it touched my soul very much. And this is also what I try to give my clients and my people when I'm traveling, to give this feeling when they come home, they were touched somehow.
So, so it means that most of your tours are nature related, or do you make some cultural tours as well?
Both, yeah, I do both. So I have been many times to
Do,
Andalusia, for example,
both.
in southern Spain, to go to Granada, to Sevilla, and all those nice places. But I'm
Mhm.
very often going to northern European countries like Iceland, like the Baltic states. Obviously, as I've been living here for quite a long time. Ireland, I'm quite often there as well. But I also go to overseas destinations like Myanmar, Burma, for example, Laos, Vietnam, or Colombia in South America is also a special place I like very much to go with people.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, what was your biggest adventure during the travel in your life, and what did you learn out of it, and what consequences actually you faced with this adventure? Um, do you
Um,
remember anything like that?
yeah, I would say it was back then when I quit my job in this publishing company, and I started to be on my own. And I went to South America. I had a flight ticket to Montevideo in Uruguay and back from the Dominican Republic, which is in the Caribbean. So it was quite interesting. And I had 3 months time. And I did travel there with public transport mostly. It was a trip that I did my own self. And I remember I was in Chile for already 3 weeks, and I wanted to go to Peru. But in Peru, the weather was totally terrible. So I decided in the north of Chile, I go back to Santiago de Chile and will fly out and go to Ecuador. And I should stay just one night in Santiago de Chile. I will always remember it. I know the date even exactly, because when I was staying there in this hostel, sleeping there, all of a sudden, 3:30 in the night, the whole house was shaking like crazy. So it was a big terremoto, an earthquake, very heavy one with 7.8 on the Richter scale, which was really a heavy earthquake. And it was really extreme. And what I experienced after that was so fantastic, because one lady who I met 1 week before in Chile, she didn't know that I was there in this hostel. She came immediately, did pick me up there, and told me, "You come now with us. You have to live with us as long as there is no possibility to go out of this country." She did show me so many places in Santiago, in Chile, and so on. And I saw that every catastrophe, every bad event what you can have, even during traveling, can have some very good outcome, and they will always be connected with that place as well. And those 3 months after have been so fantastic. I traveled through all of South America on a budget with a big backpack, and there were so many interesting experiences. So that one was, for me, the most exciting traveling. I had this terremoto, but so many interesting experiences there as well.
Actually, we were laughing, smiling now. I'm sure you were not smiling when all of this was happening and taking place. And now I wanted to ask you the next question. If you remember any funny moment, funny situation you faced when you travel, maybe with tourists, with the group, or on your own. Sometimes it happens when we travel.
It was connected with nature, actually, and with animals. I love to do tours where we can see some wildlife, like I mentioned before, the gorillas or whale watching. Last year I was in Iceland. I saw, first time in my life as well, a blue whale, a big blue whale. It's very, very rare that you can spot one. And that story was also connected with animals. We have been in Myanmar or Burma. I was with a small group there, and I had one gentleman, a client. He was a very nice guy, and he was working for Austrian company which is producing some juice, like this Red Bull, this drink. And he was very, very proud about his company. He was in the management there somehow, and he had always his Red Bull cap on his head, and was very proud about it. He never did take it away. And there in Burma, we did go to a monastery, which was on the top of a mountain called Mount Popa. And there was a path up the way to this monastery. And he had his cap, and then all of a sudden came some monkeys, and he wanted to make pictures of those monkeys. And he had some banana in his hand. And I remember I was just behind him, walking up there, and he had his banana and wanted to give this banana to the monkeys. And of course, some monkeys came. And he thought this monkey would take his banana and he could make some good picture. And the monkey came closer and closer. He had his camera, already the banana in front of him, and the monkey came closer. The second one was maybe 2 meters away. And all of a sudden, the monkey, who was close already, came to him, but he did not take the banana. He took his cap, his Red Bull cap. Oh. And so the monkey took his cap. He was like, "Wow!" And the other monkey, which was maybe 2 meters away, did run towards the other one, and they were fighting about this cap. Both of them wanted this Red Bull cap. We didn't think about the banana. I was behind that, and I was laughing so much. The guy was also laughing. He got no picture, I think. His cap was gone after that, and but he was laughing. It was so funny. And sometimes it's those situations where you are thinking, it's so great to be in nature. You never know what will happen.
It was a gang of monkeys.
Yeah, it was some youngsters, I guess, and they wanted to be cool with that cap, probably. So one of them has a Red Bull cap now there.
So did you get minus points as a guide, as a tour guide of this group? Did the guy complain he lost his cap?
No, not at all, not at all. Or even we were talking before that there are some monkeys there, and be careful. They steal quite everything. So some people lost even their camera there. So those monkeys are brave guys. So you have to be careful there.
So, Patrik, there are so many people who are actually planning their vacation, planning their numbers, sometimes with a travel agency, sometimes with the tour guides. Many of them stay at home because they actually don't know where to start from. And you are actually a perfect person who is knowing all information, could provide this information about traveling, like how to travel with low budget. You've mentioned before you didn't have money. With time, it was possible for you to travel. There are people who work so much and they don't know even when to go on vacation. They would like to combine work and travel together. And there are other people like, oh, shall I take this lipstick? Shall I take this gear and that? And they don't know how to travel light. And finally, they stay at home and they would need some practical advice on how to travel, just to see something and experience something.
Yeah, I think everybody
Advice
has
from you
his
for all of
everybody has his own style, and I do different kind of tours. I do tours which are more on a budget, especially when I travel myself. I like that kind of traveling independently and on a budget more. But also I do tours called Studienreisen. So those are tours like academical tours, where we are staying in quite sophisticated hotels and so on, and everything is very, not luxury maybe, but it's like, a good, very good standard. So I know both, and not everybody is for everything. I mean, there are those people and those people. But what I can tell, what I can tell is that you have to try it out once, I think. For example, some people, I had one very, very lovely client. She was always going to southern countries. She has a son, he's 13 years old, and she was always traveling to southern countries. She told me, the north is nothing for me. I don't like the north. It's too cold and I don't like it. But she was traveling with her son, with me already 3 times. And then she told me, where are you going next summer? And I told, I'm going to Iceland, to Norway, I'm going to the Baltic states. Oh, it's so cold and blah, blah. And I told, try it out once. So she tried out once. She came with me to Iceland. We did a round trip there with a small group. And since that, she's traveling every summer now with me to a Nordic country. So you have to try it out. And that's one advice of me. You don't know it, how you will like it until you did try it out once. About destinations, about where to travel. About traveling light, I can tell we take too much stuff with us most of the time. Even I do that still. I'm a keen photographer, so I bring a lot of photographic stuff with me. I bring camera, lenses, and so on. And in the end, mostly I use one lens because it's too complicated on tour to always change the lens and so on. And when I come home, I thought, I cannot take too much. Same with clothes. But one advice, practical advice, for example, what I can give is, when I travel, I always have my stuff, my clothes in bags, in small plastic bags, with different color. All my shirts I have in the red bag, and the other stuff I have in the white one, and so on. It's always the same in every traveling. And if I'm there somewhere, I know already, aha, my stuff is there, my stuff is there, my stuff is there, and I find it very fast. It's very, very easy to go with that. And I try to reduce my things as much as possible. And then I have some stuff in my luggage, what I always need, or what I am thinking I will need that probably in all my tours. So I can never forget it. So I have always my charger, always my phone charger, for camera charger, some paper clips, some rubber rings, some stuff what you always can use. Let it in the luggage and never give it out. Never give it out. So some of those practical things. About people who are afraid of traveling, I can just tell. I was in this company, what I told before, working, making maps and traveling literatures for 7 or 8 years already. And I felt I'm not happy with that job anymore. I want to change something, but I was somehow not sure what should I do, how should I do. And one thing changed everything, and that was really interesting. I was in South Africa. I did a overland tour with this was an old truck which was rebuilt as a kind of a bus, and we were traveling through South Africa, Lesotho, and Namibia.
Mm.
And we came to a bridge which was 220 meters high, I remember, and there was an advertisement: jump from this bridge. This is the highest bridge on earth where you can jump down, bungee. And I was always thinking, these bungee guys, they are a little bit crazy, and I will never do that. I don't like that, and so on. And I was afraid of it somehow. And I remember we came there in the evening, and next day morning, I did wake up, and I thought, I jump from that bridge. I will try it. I will try it out. I don't know why. It just came. I never had the idea to do that, but in this morning I had the feeling I have to do that. And I was jumping there. I was the first one who was jumping down, I remember. And from that time on, I was not afraid anymore to do new things. So you have to leave your comfort zone, maybe radically, maybe doing something what you never thought you would do. And it's with traveling same. Just do it. Just try it out. And you will see you will get a big reward. Also with people who are thinking, I'm too old to that. Or I had, for example, handicapped people who were telling me, oh, it's so difficult. I cannot travel in cities. It's so difficult. And I remember 3 years ago, I had a lady, she was 87 years old from Vienna. She was traveling with me to Ethiopia in Africa. And it was so crazy. It was so good. When I came home, I had such a good feeling, a good mood also about that, because she went with us even to the Nile River waterfalls with our help. We hired some local guys also who did help. And when she did it, to walk to those waterfalls, she told that was the best experience she ever had in traveling. And she was 87. And she had really this, this glimmer in her eyes, and I was so happy about that because she was brave and she tried it just. So try it out, do new things, go to new destinations, and like now, for example, if somebody who is always traveling to places like Thailand or maybe Dominican Republic or in Europe somewhere to a place like Italy or Spain, try something totally different one time. Go to Latvia, go to a beach there. You will see the beaches are perfect. You will never think about it, but it's true. It's like that.
And maybe you can see Carlos on the roof, who lives in Riga, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking for him there.
Yeah, you can explore so many things.
Yeah, I actually thought now that for people who want to leave their comfort zone, it would be good maybe for 1-2 times go with the guide tour like you, because I think you are traveling with an experienced person who is giving information, who is taking care, who is providing all what is necessary. You know out of experience many situations. So, and it's also fun to travel with a bus full of people.
Yes, it's fun. Really, it's fun. And of course, there are some countries, like I told before, Myanmar, Burma, or Colombia, or such countries, where you have to do a lot of preparation before. If you want to travel individually, you can do that, of course. And it's just time consuming, but you can do that either. Or you go with a group, small group, with a guide who will do that for you. So if I go to Colombia, for example, with the people, I know where you can go, where it's safe, where it's not so safe, where you should not go. I can tell you what you should do there. Of course, I can explain about the history, about the nature, about all these things what you're maybe interested. So there are always those people who like to go individually, and I very much respect that because I do it myself as well. But as I told before, in South Africa, for example, and Namibia, I did also do a group tour where I was bungee jumping. So I know
Yeah.
both things. And of course, if you're a little bit unsure, should I go really to this place or not, and how I should go, then it's good to go in a group tour. And I think it's a lot of fun. And many people, I had many clients who told me, I've been always traveling alone or with my partner, and it's the first time that we're going with a group, but it will be not the last time. I heard this very often at the airport when we were telling bye bye, and that's also a good feeling and showing me that it's interesting for the people, of course, to do that.
What about low budget?
Mhm.
I'm not too much supportive of low cost traveling. I always also try to be aware of what is causes for our environment. But when you travel with a group, when you prepare a trip like that, does it mean that you can save some costs?
Yeah,
I don't know.
also. There's
Yeah.
also one thing what is true. For example, it depends a little bit which destination we're talking about. But for example, in North European countries, which are very expensive usually, like Iceland or Norway, you can cut costs in a group definitely, because the mean of transport is expensive. If you rent a car in Iceland, for example, it's in the high season very expensive. You pay more than €100 per day. And in a group, of course, you share the costs for the mean of transport. You get also better rates in the hotels and so on. So I have quite often in Iceland young people, also students, who are coming with me with tour groups, because it's also a cost factor. Definitely, it depends, of course, which kind of tour you're booking, which kind of group tour you're booking. But yeah, it can be a factor as well.
So, Patrik, what impact did COVID have on your work and travel? As we said, our conversation is also about traveling now. What would you share with people who listen to us, and what your advice would be in this case? How does it look like now?
It's of course very, very different than the time before. And it's a very difficult time for the tourism industry. It's a tough time for everybody who is involved in this industry, and in this business. Industry is a bad word. I don't like it in this business. But I can say that we see some sunrise in the horizon. It's getting better now. The borders are um, open up. For example, in Estonia, where I live now, since yesterday, it is possible for Austrians and other nationals of European Union, not of all countries, but most countries, to go to Estonia without the quarantine and to spend holidays here. So it's starting slowly, but yeah, it's still difficult, and you have to inform very well where you go. So I do that, of course, about all the countries where I'm traveling in the next months. I follow the media, I follow the news. For example, in Iceland, you can do a COVID test in the airport in Keflavik International Airport. You can do the test there, and you will get the result in the same day in the evening. They will inform you if you're negative or positive. Most likely you will be negative, and then you can travel through the country without any problems. But that is from country to country different, but more and more countries open up. And the traveling will be a little bit, maybe a little bit different than before, of course. So, for example, if I go with a group now as a guide, a small group to, let's say, to Iceland, we will take care, of course, about when we're traveling to there, about which mean of transport we use, which plane we use, which airline we use, how is the situation there, how close sit the people together, and so on. The people will have masks in the planes usually. That will stay some time, I'm quite sure. So there are some things which we have to adapt. But I mean, the feeling what you get after when you are traveling, that will be much, much better, much, much stronger than maybe the small things what are not so easy like they have been before. And the waterfalls, if you see the waterfalls
Mm.
there, and then you have no mask anymore because you're traveling inside the country, and you are anyway sure that you're safe. The waterfalls are same beautiful, same powerful like they have been last year and 2 years ago.
So shall I understand that you go as your next trip to Iceland?
That's most
Is it
likely.
like that?
We have to confirm some things with the local agencies there, but most likely I will go to Iceland in July, and I will do also in summer tours to the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, probably in August and also in September. And now is the time for Europe, I can say. Maybe not now already for Spain or Italy, that will come. I'm sure it will come a little bit later for group tours. I mean, now you can go to Italy perfectly already also on your own, but for group tours, it's not possible at the moment. But now is the time for Northern Europe. Those are vast landscapes, very big landscapes, less population, a lot of nature, and few cases, COVID cases, except Sweden. Maybe they have an own way to handle that, but in the other countries, very few cases. For example, in Estonia, we had no case at all, new cases at all the last 2 days. So it's quite interesting. It's maybe something new for the people, and it's a safe destination.
So I could read in the news that actually the governments say people from Italy stay in Italy, people from Austria stay in Austria. But right now when we are talking, I get the feeling just, travel in Europe, we would maybe not go to Asia in the next couple of months or to the US. We would rather stay in Europe and plan safe, joyful trips here. Correct?
Yeah. Yes, I guess so. To go into Asia, for example, is still very difficult. There are a lot of restrictions. Some countries still not let in people from Europe even. And I think maybe you should do that another year, maybe not this year. And I think it will be the time to visit Europe. Yeah, European destinations, like I told before, even your own country. Even your own country. I mean, many people do that now. They go to visit Hallstatt in Austria, for example, which is very crowded and full usually in summer times. Or as you told me yesterday, many Italians visit Venice now. So there are so many interesting and beautiful places in their own country. I was in the weekend in southern Estonia, in a small place where I haven't been before, and I did enjoy it very, very much. So travel in their own country or in Europe, I think is good to do in the next months.
So you discover your own country or Europe, and you discover yourself, and you simply try to enjoy and do the best you can from the situation we are in.
Yes, not just maybe another destination, also another way of traveling. Like, for example, here in Estonia, we can do tours with canoes, with kayaks, with boats on the rivers. We can do wildlife watching. I bought a new lens for my camera, and I'm now very keen in bird watching. And I plan to do some tours for that as well. So I try to do new things. I mean, I have more time now than I have usually at this time of the year, and I try to do new things, and it's always interesting and fun, and you can use this experience for the future. I think that's how you should do. You should not sit in home and thinking, "Oh, it's so bad. I don't know what to do." Try things, to do new things, what is possible, and it is possible now already to do that.
So it's about being curious. It's about opening the door and saying, "I go."
I think most travelers who I know who are not always going to the same place, are curious people. Or if you're curious, you like to travel usually because you like to see something new. For me, curiosity is, of course, one reason why I like to travel a lot. Curiosity about new places, about how the people live there, how the nature looks like. You never know exactly what will happen. It's something I like in life, and I like in traveling. And traveling as a tourist, traveling in life to have new experiences are connected to each other, I think. And people who travel a lot, I see they usually also are quite flexible in life, and they can adapt to new situations easier.
So, Patrik, tell me about your experience on the ice with this big ship behind you. We put this picture into the advertisement. I saw it and I thought, yeah, cool. What an experience.
Yeah,
Where was it? How was it taken? How did
that picture that was taken in Svalbard or Spitsbergen in the Arctic region. That's a group of islands in the very far north. If you go there, you land at the northernmost commercial airport in the world. I was there in April, and it had minus 20 degrees Celsius around, but it was around 4 or 5th April, I think, and it was already daylight until 11 o'clock in the evening. It's a very strange place, very, very interesting, very beautiful, but very cold. And I did do there a trip with a ship. It's kind of an expedition ship to an old Russian mining town called Pyramiden. And there was still so much ice in the bay that the ship could not go to this small village, but it had to stop in the bay. But the ice was so strong that we could go off the ship and walk around there. But there was always one lady. She was a guide, a local guide from there. She always had a gun with her because you have to have a gun in Spitsbergen because there are polar bears everywhere. So it was kind of exciting experience and very beautiful. And I plan to go back to Svalbard sooner or later. It's a very, very beautiful place.
I go with you. I go with you.
Yeah, do that.
I open back.
No, it's a crazy, crazy, interesting place. And as I was in April, I want to do that maybe in summer also, and another time of the year. It's also if you travel to some destination, maybe in summer, for example, to Iceland, and you like it, try to travel to this destination in another time of the year. It's totally different. I went to Iceland, for example, in wintertime a couple of times, and it's amazing as well. So you can have totally new experiences just in another time of the year in the same place.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Patrik, as we are now running out of time, I would say that your website, you have a beautiful website with all information. Your Facebook will be linked to this interview. And whoever is interested to link with you can contact you per email or call you even.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I think we right now started this beautiful trip into something unknown, and it's the first chat I have with you. I will be coming back, and I would like people also to have this opportunity to meet you as this wonderful person, guide, and have fun and enjoy their travel. And I thank you, Patrik, with all my heart for dedicating your time today to us. And I hope I see you soon.
Thank you very much, Magda. I hope as well. I will come to Austria end of June, and I'm looking forward to meet you in Vienna. We drink a cup of coffee, and it will be very exciting. And I thank everybody who did watch. And of course, everybody is very welcome to contact me, and I give all the information if you like. And yeah, visit my website. I'm also planning to do something with the website. I was talking already with some programmer. We will install a blog, and I will do a new newsletter. So there will be something new in the website as well in the next months, maybe weeks even. Let's see. And there are all my contacts. Numbers there.
And maybe we do some workshop on some very strange countries in the future,
Sure.
where you could provide really detailed information. So thank you, Patrik. Thank you, Thank you, guys. I wish you a beautiful day, beautiful trip to wherever you want to travel. And I see you soon online. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.